Okay, joining us now is our six-time NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion, and that's Jimmie Johnson. He drives the number 48 Cobalt Tool Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And Jimmie, Darlington's been a favorite of yours. 3 wins here. I believe you had a big win here a couple of years ago when it was the 200th win for Hendrick Motorsports, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But talk about coming here to Darlington. Certainly, you're on the verge of getting that first win this season, and certainly have to feel good about your chances here tomorrow night.
Yeah, excited to be back to the racetrack and a track that is a favorite for so many, including myself. Sensation of speed here is higher than any other track we go to, and the line and racing surface is so narrow and unique, challenging, that it really is an accomplishment to run 500 miles here, to be successful, to qualify well, to have a good race, and then ultimately to win. So very, very excited to be back and looking forward to a good race. We've had a lot of speed in our cars, and I feel terrible that, honestly, the last 3 weeks we've had a race-winning car and just haven't been able to take advantage of it. Last week our race was cut awfully short, just 3 or 4 laps before we had all the damage from Junior's trip through the grass, and didn't have a chance to let our car shine there in Texas. I think we were really, really in a great position to compete for a win. But that stuff happens, and we're looking forward and focused on this weekend's race, and hopefully we can get a W.
We'll take some questions. Start with Ed, go to Mike Embry, and then Al Pierce.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Jimmie, just to follow up on what you were just saying about the last 3 weeks, when you dominate the race, shredded tire, dominate the race, loose car at the end, and then last week, wham, early, do you guys take that in the 48 team stride of, oh, man, this stuff can't keep up like this? Or is there a certain amount of ouch that kind of bites you when you go through 3 in a row like that? Does that kind of bite your confidence, or the whole, we always look at the 48 as almost a machine-like or clockwork team. Does that kind of throw a glitch in things at times?
There's definitely an ouch, but it's not from it's more from a position that we hate to see opportunities slip away. It doesn't hurt our confidence. For us, and I think most teams, when you're that close and have a shot to win and know that you have fast race cars and you don't pull into victory lane, it's a confidence booster. The end result isn't what you want and what you like, but your cars are fast, your pit stops are good. You have all the pieces there, and it's just about running the distance of the race and getting the job done. So, I've been through various challenges in my Cup career, and one marker I always look for is clearly fast cars and ultimately top 5 finishes. And I firmly believe that if you're running in the top 5, you're going to have your shots at winning races, and even a step further, top 3s. But our goal since I've started, if we can run in the top 5 all day long, we'll have a shot to win the race, and it's led to a lot of victories for us.
Go to Mike, Al Pierce, and then to Claire B.
Mike Embry, USA Today. Jimmie, Penske, in effect, has both of its cars in the chase and can experiment more, target chase tracks with tests and whatever. How much of an advantage is that, and does that put the rest of you guys at somewhat of a disadvantage, being sort of behind in that category anyway?
My first response is that it doesn't put us at a disadvantage. The game has changed some, and I think most of it falls on the fact that you have to test it as an organization where you go. We're confident we're going to have a car, if not, all 4 cars in the chase, and all of our planning has been focused around chase tracks for testing. So if we do get deep into the regular season and need to use a test at Richmond or use a test at a non-chase track, at that point, yeah, absolutely. It benefits a Penske where they're already locked in. But right now, in the way we've been planning things, we're focused on all our cars being in the chase and heading that direction. But, in time it could change, and we might have to call an audible late in the postseason and show a little help to one or more of our race cars.
We'll go to Al, Claire, and Dustin.
Yeah, Jimmie, Al Pierce from Auto Week. I know this is off topic a good bit, but I've been asked to ask you, so I'm going to ask you. We're coming up on the 20th anniversary of losing Ayrton Senna. You're a big Formula One fan. Do you remember whether he had any impact on your early years as a driver? Was he somebody you looked up to back when he was a champion?
You know, and media back in that period of time was so different than today. A few magazines I'd pick up, I could learn about him, an occasional, Formula One race on TV, but it was pretty far and few between. I knew the name, I knew the legacy. I feel like I've been able to learn more about Senna through Max Pappas, to be honest with you, and some of the open wheel guys that I'm friends with that looked up to him, and he actually mentored along the way, and Max probably being the biggest one to that effect. So, his legacy still lives on, and it's a beautiful thing to see the respect that he has worldwide. It doesn't matter the discipline of motorsports, people still respect his abilities today, and it's an amazing thing. And truthfully, I think the documentary Senna has kind of opened up everyone's minds to what he was as a man, in and out of the car, and still, I can't believe the footage they got and the story they were able to tell through that documentary. And wish I had a chance to meet him. Certainly wish I had a chance to race against him. I know a lot of young drivers, or a lot of drivers, period, wish they could have had that opportunity.
Go to Claire, Dustin, and then Bob Pockers.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. You said that you feel terrible because the cars were fast, and you find solace in the fact that, the program is good. You just guys haven't gotten there. And I wonder if it's the championships or what it is that you as a leader of the team are able to handle your frustration. If that's something that you learned, because obviously you're a huge competitor. It is not like you not to be winning, and yet you understand that your team is fast. How do you handle that frustration? Is it something that you learned earlier leading into the championships, or are you having to deal with it now?
Yeah, it's something that you learn, and I'd say that maybe the first couple of races, there was a bit more frustration because our cars didn't have the speed that they needed to, and those were things that we could control. So practice sessions at Phoenix, practice sessions at Las Vegas, that's where we felt like we were off and missing something, but we're given 100%, and that's really all you can do. And we've learned through experience to identify with that. You can only work so many hours in the day and then in the week and only give 100%. Anything more is going to be detrimental to the team and not help things progress. So I feel like, post Bristol, moving forward, we've had speed in our race cars. We've been, competitive and have had looks at wins, and things have happened, and that happens in motorsports. So we hate that it hasn't happened. We hate opportunities slipping away. But when you're given 100% and you have fast race cars, you're controlling most of your variables, and we feel good about that, and know that once we get things rolling, we'll be in great shape.
We'll go to Dustin, Bob Pockers, and then Matt. Go ahead.
Dustin Long, MRN.com. Last week after the race, Chad made the comment on the radio saying we've got to be better on Fridays. What needs to be the case? Was that just more of an isolated incident from Texas, just not as strong, not qualifying as well? And secondly, for as challenging or as difficult as last week's race was, what's the toughest day you've had inside the car during a race, whether Cup or anything in your career?
Man, I think of a lot of nationwide days that were tough. Cup-wise, I'd go to Las Vegas maybe 05. I can't remember the year, but we were 3 laps down and had a perfectly straight race car and didn't hit a thing. I was loose on the front straightaway through that little bend in the road. That was my toughest day in Cup for sure. And it's kind of hard to tighten the car up on the straightaway. So it was a very challenging day. But I'm sorry, I forgot kind of the first part.
After the Texas race, Chad made the comment, we got to be better on Fridays. Is that just more isolated? You didn't qualify as well? Because I know you talked about you guys feel like you've got speed and having success, or is there more of an issue of just being better on Fridays?
Yeah, I mean, Fridays, they're a big focus for us, and I don't think that going fast for a lap is really the 48 specialty. It could just fall on my lap. Team setups, whatever it is, it's just kind of the history of the 48, and it's something we've always worked hard to improve. And if we started on the front row, we wouldn't have been in harm's way. And we've seen that a few times, like I think it was Texas in '09 or something, where Sam spun and we got caught up in that. There's some rare situations where there is a problem early, and if we qualified a few spots better, we would have been ahead of it. And that's what Chad was referencing.
Go to Bob, Matt, and end with Rich. Go ahead, Bob.
Bob Hawker, Sporting News. Was your car damaged so much on Monday that was the whole day an entire waste as far as like not even learning anything about the new aero rules this year and being able to kind of see what adjustments do?
Yeah, we had some pretty good damage to the car. I think they did a very nice job of fixing it, and I still think I could have ran in the top 5 based on the lap times I heard through the course of the day. The damage was one thing, and our guys did a nice job of keeping me on the lead lap. But then either something fell off my car or I ran something over on the track and shredded that right rear tire. But as I went into turn 1, I ran something over, something big, and I knew I was going to have an issue, and sure enough, I had a flat. And that flat is what really put us down. So it kind of was a wash, especially with the aero damage to the race car and knowing how adjustments would work.
Back in the back, Matt, raise your hand, and then we'll end with Rich.
Matt Weaver, Popular Speed. I think you've kind of had the chance to race against Jeff Gordon when he's really been at his best, and then some other years where he's really struggled a little bit. He's leading the championship standings entering this week. Are you seeing anything different out of Jeff Gordon today compared to some other years you've raced against him?
Jeff is so rock solid during the week, out of the car, our team meetings, our debriefs. He knows what he's looking for in his race car. And, there have been periods of time where the collective group on the 24 have been able to give him that feeling that he needs, and you can't catch him, and he's off, and they're off and gone, and you're behind him, chasing him down. Then there's other weeks or other stretches of time where it doesn't pan out, and, wondering, why the 24 isn't up front. Just because Jeff has set such a high bar through the years and all the success he's had. But I've always admired his ability outside of the car to continue to lead his team, to continue to search for the feeling, and it helps me. I mean, we run through stretches where we don't have speed in our car, and I look around at my peers, and Jeff being one of them, and how he handles those situations, and he has confidence in his abilities and his feel of a race car, and keeps challenging the guys to find that. And I'm very happy for the success that 24 has had this year, and know that they're going to be strong all year long.
Final question, far left, Rich.
Jimmie, Rich Colbert with the Motor Racing Network right here. Next weekend's an off weekend. How important is that weekend to have off, and what kind of plans do you have?
It's very important to have off. I'm not sure what our plans are exactly with the tragedy we had last week. We're just kind of not in the mood to really go anywhere, so we might be having a staycation at home and enjoy just being home, which is going to be a vacation all on its own. But it's great for the teams. The drivers have one aspect, and yes, we'd love some downtime. But for the crew members, they've been going hard since Christmas break, and especially since after the New Year, and trying to narrow in on a rules package, testing, everything through speed weeks, and then to here. So it's a much-needed break for the crew members.
Richmond, a couple of weeks away. How does the 48 team look for that track?
And we've sucked at Richmond lately. Hopefully we get our act together over there and can have some speed. So is that what we come back to from vacation?
Yep.
Oh, great. So we'll show up and be mad right away. That'll be awesome.
Very good. Jimmie, thanks for coming in. Good luck
Thanks.
this weekend.